Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Hope everybody's out there having a wonderful week and everything's going well with you. But my guest this week, making his record-breaking, it's probably in the double digits somewhere. But welcome back, Bobby Beaulieu.
I guess you could say I'm the one, right? That's what Roman says, right?
Yeah.
You acknowledge him, right?
You gotta acknowledge Roman.
Some people wake up every morning and acknowledge that they've risen for another day. I acknowledge Roman Reigns every morning.
He is the tribal chief, and
he's your tribal chief.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah,
I'm ready for him to lose the title, though.
No.
I don't know how long this can go on for.
Forever.
Yeah. Hopefully Cody comes back and beats him. But how have you been since your last appearance on Let Freedom Ring?
Good. Running softballs, winding down. Fall's coming up. Football's back. Grad school's back. I got a teacher who refuses to give hundreds. Believes that they don't exist. Won't ever take this class again for this person. If this professor ever comes up again, will remain nameless.
Why, you think you're going to have to retake it, or you're not passing?
No, I'll pass it.
Oh,
I'm passing, but she doesn't believe, or he or she doesn't believe you get exemplary. You have to get proficient above and beyond. And then,
well, it is grad school, and they do have, expectations. And
I'm going above. You gave me a thing saying I was exceed the expectations, yet I didn't get the expectation. Like this person, I will never take their class again. Well, other than that, great.
Well, didn't you recently have COVID? You missed Canaan.
Yes, I am a COVID survivor. Missed Canaan. That was rough. I was tired a lot. Just really tired. I was wide awake from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Couldn't stay awake the rest of the day. It was brutal.
What do you think was the hardest part, or did you have the cough?
Didn't really have the cough. I was congested. Sounded like there was something stuck in my throat the whole time. But yeah, no, just the exhaustion is what gets you. Everything else is. I had the flu this year already, so it was a lot like flu-like symptoms, but exhaustion, man.
Yeah, COVID stuff. I mean, I did not enjoy it when I had it, and obviously you were one of the early guests of the show because we started in 2020 before we knew.
Yeah,
the world was going to change.
I think they started the lockdown the week after we did our show.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we just didn't know, and now looking back, we're going to go. We're heading towards the end of the year.
Yep.
Which means in March it's going to be 3 years that we've been. I don't know. Obviously, I don't feel like we're in the pandemic anymore.
No, but they haven't technically declared us out of the pandemic. They're getting close to it, I think, because this is the first month since March of 2020 where we don't have the amount of deaths, right? There's no reported deaths from, there are reported deaths from COVID, but the numbers have dwindled down significantly.
Yeah, it's just going to be our new flu. I'm sure this is not the last time I'll ever have it.
Probably not. Yeah.
I'll probably have it again. You'll probably have it again.
I hope not.
Though I haven't had the flu. Couldn't tell you the last time I had the flu.
Yeah, you probably got it, just didn't get tested for it. You have to get tested for it.
No, but I've never been that, when you have the flu, I cannot think of the last time I've had that. I can't really remember in my adult life the last time I've had the flu.
You probably had then, though, because even when I got flu this year, if I wasn't getting tested for COVID, I never would have known. It would never have pushed me to the point where I would have gotten tested.
Yeah. No, I've never had a flu shot. I've probably had my last COVID shot, and just, it's just stuff that happens.
Yeah, I get my flu shot every year.
Yeah, never had it. Never had a flu shot.
I got one on Monday.
I don't even get the point. Don't you get sick? You get a little sick for a little bit after that?
I never have. Victoria does. She gets sick after it. I just take it and just...
What are you avoiding, though? If you're going to get the flu, you're going to get the flu.
Not having to use the time off when I get the flu.
What if you still get it? Then what was the point of the...
Well, the shot prevents it from being as bad. That's the point of any vaccine is.
Yeah. I never done it.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't see myself doing it. And interesting, though. Two illnesses now. Now I get two things to worry about every winter.
Not to mention the common cold.
Common cold, I can deal with, that's annoying. Anytime I get a sore throat, that's when I'm annoyed. That annoys me.
Maybe you don't have a big group around people. Have you ever heard the parent flu? It's like all the kids go back to school and they are hanging out and all of a sudden they come back and the parents are all sick again and they're like, I got the old parent flu. I heard that last night at the field about people getting sick because their kids are back in school. I go,
oh, when I worked in school, I would never got the flu, but
Yeah.
I'd have a cold quite a bit.
yeah,
You wake up, you're like, not again. That's why I hate sore throats.
accidentally drink from the water bubbler and you're like,
Yeah, you have to learn your lesson.
Yeah,
with that. Early in my teaching days, I'd fill up the mug.
Yeah, oh, terrible idea.
Stop doing that. Started bringing my own water.
Yeah.
But anyways, football season is rolling. We've never actually done this on the show before. Figured why not try this with you. We're going to pick this week's games. Now, I will admittedly say I've not paid attention to the league like I have in years past. I care about the Patriots, and I don't. People get frustrated with me because I just don't care about fantasy football.
Yeah, I understand that.
I'm at the field the other day, and everybody's checking their phones, and I'm like, I don't care. You know what I care about? If this team won. That's it.
You know, as a general manager of a fantasy football team, it's not an easy task managing a roster in a 10-person league. You know, it's rough times. But fantasy football gives you the reasons to watch all of football. Like, not just
I still want to
Patriots.
watch. I don't need the fantasy to watch.
But I know the names. Like, you see a guy go off and you're like, oh, who's that guy on the Vikings? You don't know. But if I'm a fantasy football owner, I'm knowing these guys.
Oh, I hope this guy gets a catch or that guy. I can't.
Or not wanting that person to get a catch or all that.
Somewhat annoys me. I think fantasy football kind of actually annoys me.
More than the sports gambling world?
I don't really even know much about the sports gambling world, to be quite frank, but I need to update Bob Saucier. I will try to remember that when I get home. But anyways, we'll make some picks here. This weekend we have, tonight, Chargers at the Chiefs.
Yeah. Good game. By the way, you have to watch it on Amazon Prime. It's not on. There was a thing going around about DirecTV. DirecTV doesn't automatically give it to you. The bars have the DirecTV package that allows them to show it on TV, but like DirecTV people who think they're not going to get it without Amazon, not 100% the case.
What about people with Comcast?
You don't get it. Thursday Night Football is no longer streamed on NFL Network at all anymore. You have to have Amazon Prime. You have to have Amazon.
Wow.
Welcome to the future.
Well, I guess I wasn't going to watch anyways, but now...
You're definitely not going to watch.
Wow, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
first season.
So you got to buy Amazon Prime
To get Amazon streaming, yeah.
to watch Thursday Night Football.
Yes. Yep.
That's the
Tuned in.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It's the future. Everything's going to be streaming at some point.
No, don't do that to me. Wow, that's annoying.
Yeah.
That's really annoying.
I do think, though, with the Patriots, if it's a home Patriots
They'll be
market,
still on
they'll
Channel
have
4.
to be on Channel 4, I think.
Yes.
Don't quote me on that. Don't at me either.
No, I think
John
that's
Nagel.
right. Man, that's really crappy that they're doing that. That's really
They have
ridiculous.
all the rights to it. Multi-billion-dollar contract.
Yeah. Well, I won't be watching. I'll probably watch something on Netflix or, Yeah, there's nothing else on Thursdays I can think of.
Yeah, well.
There's no wrestling on. But anyways, do you have the Chargers at the Chiefs? Who you got?
I'm taking the Chiefs at home, even though in the regular season, Patrick Mahomes is 3-5 all time against the Chargers and has lost, I believe, 2 straight at home against the Chargers. So, but I do feel like the Chargers are a good team. Chiefs on Sunday looked really good, and that Arizona defense team isn't terrible. So I think that they're gonna. I think they pull a close one.
I'm gonna say same thing. Chiefs are at home.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. Dolphins at the Ravens on Sunday at 1:00 games. I think these are the 1:00 games I'm going through first.
Baltimore at home, obviously. I think the Dolphins are good. Not a playoff team. I think they're like a cusp playoff team.
Patriots made Tua look way better than he actually.
But he only scored 20 points, so it's not a lot. And this defense is way better than the Patriots. In Baltimore, Tua with those 3 picks, gets sacked a bunch of times. Ravens walk out.
Yeah, I would say Ravens too. I would say the quarterback there they got to resign him.
Lamar Jackson, he just turned down $160 million guaranteed.
He could get hurt. The way he plays the game, he could get hurt at any time.
If he gets hurt this year, he's screwed.
Yeah, he's playing with fire right now.
Yeah, not a good thing either. And I understand he turned it down because of Deshaun Watson got $230 million guaranteed.
Didn't deserve it.
Didn't deserve it. Not realistic. I think Jackson might have hurt himself for a big payday because if he does get hurt this year, you get 3 years?
The way he plays, he can get hurt at any time.
Yep, him and Allen.
So he is playing with fire there. Jets at the Browns.
Browns. Jets are another rebuilding team. They're going to be better this year. They're just not ready.
I'm going to say the Jets, and I don't think it's because they're good. I think this Browns franchise is one of the dumbest franchises I've ever. They ran Baker Mayfield, the only guy that's won them a playoff game since I believe that they came back as an actual team.
You're correct. Yeah.
They ran him out of town. I wouldn't root for the Jets, but I kind of don't want to see the Browns win a game this year. I don't even like Baker Mayfield all that much.
Yeah.
But what they did to him, for a guy that obviously has a very bad track record and he's suspended right away, I got to root against the Browns all year.
It's going to be tough. Jacoby Brissett, former Patriot, starting quarterback, just won the Browns their first week win in 17 years. They've lost 17 straight week 1 games until this year.
What, the Browns won on Sunday?
They won on Sunday.
So Mayfield didn't even beat him?
No, Mayfield lost.
Someone told me the Panthers won. I guess I didn't check.
That was wrong. Panthers lost.
Yeah.
In Charlotte. Yeah.
Oof.
So first win for the Browns on week 1. I texted Cameron saying, "Hey, congratulations. Streak is over. The streak is over."
I got to root against. I really just don't like how they ran him out like that.
Yeah.
Not that I care about a multimillionaire, but same time, don't agree with it. Commanders, DC, Washington Commanders, first year with that name, going up against the Lions. And I guess the Lions are the favorite for the first time in like 3 years in a game.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the hard knock stuff is what is driving this hysteria towards the Lions.
Their coach is hilarious.
He
PC
fires
principal.
you up. He'll put you want to run through a wall for that man after that game. They're not ready. I'm taking the Commanders here in Detroit. I think a lot of the hype, and honestly, betting money-wise, not to get too much into sports betting, a lot of money's been falling on the Lions last week, again this week. I think the hard knocks thing is getting to people, and I think you should stay away from that and realize that they're not ready. They're 2 years away.
I'm going with the Lions.
Yeah.
They're the favorite the first time in like 3 years. Got to do it.
That means that's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. I know the Commanders are a hot mess, and so is Carson Wentz, but
I'll be quite frank. I enjoyed the Washington football team as a better name than the Commanders.
love that name way better. I would have kept it.
They hyped that up. Like, this is going to be the coolest name ever. I go, no, not that cool. I actually think Washington football team was cooler.
Yeah, how do you name yourself the Commanders when the short for Commander is Commie?
I don't know what they were thinking.
The communists made it to D.C.
And I don't know why they hyped it up like it was going to be so cool. It's just not.
Not at all. And I think the Washington football team was a better name because it made it sound more like a European soccer team, kind of like that. Like we were.
Well, Rugby New York.
Yeah.
You know, I would have stuck with.
The reigning defending champions, by the way.
Unfortunately, but the Free Jacks have been making moves like crazy. They're going to be a good team next year. Again, they lost some people though.
Yeah.
Colts at Jags.
Oh, this was a tough one because the Jags looked good in a loss, and the Colts struggled against the Texans, tied them. Is it in Indianapolis?
Jacksonville.
I'm taking Jacksonville in the heat against the old man Ryan to upset the Colts because, like, how do you lose the Texans? Sorry, they didn't lose. I think tying is losing at the same time.
Who was the team that lost to the Jags last year and got knocked out of the playoffs?
It was the Colts.
It was the Colts.
In
okay.
Jacksonville.
That's right. I'm going Colts. Redemption here.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan's now the quarterback.
Yep.
I still can't believe the Colts lost that game.
That
was like
wild.
Because I think the week before we watched that Jaguars team play the Patriots, and it was like the worst performance I've ever seen live.
It was like watching a high school football game.
Yeah, I'd never seen, I didn't even, at one point it was like, we're just enjoying the touch. It was like, don't pay attention, hang out with all these people. Yeah, another touchdown.
Yeah.
You know, like.
It was like the number one team in Texas high school football facing like Augusta, Maine, is what it looked like because it was just a slaughter. He didn't look good. It was. And then the Colts just lose there? Carson Wentz threw up on himself is really what happened. But
Oh, where the heck is he now?
he's on the Commanders. Starting quarterback of the Commanders.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God.
More McCabe,
yeah.
sorry, your person did not pan out.
Carson Wentz is poor guy.
Poor
He
guy.
got hurt. He got hurt.
He did.
Sometimes you remember the same.
And he got hurt doing something stupid when they were leading, diving for the pylon.
It could happen at any time, you know? We've had ex-NFL players on here talk about the injuries they've had.
Yeah.
And, so. Bucks at the Saints.
I'm taking the Saints here.
So am I. They have Brady's number in the
They do have
regular
Brady's number.
season.
Lot of off-field drama this week for the Bucks. I do take the Bucks to win the NFC, but Tom Brady potentially going through a divorce, all this other stuff, like it's getting wild. A lot of off-field noise.
Tom should have stayed retired. It's getting annoying.
Yeah.
Though, they'll never be able to take... I don't think someone will ever... He's the oldest quarterback to start an NFL game.
Yes.
So, that will never be taken away from him.
Right.
But I understand... But I also think the media is playing up to this. But Giselle did actually speak to the media.
Yeah. This
That's
story.
where it gets a little
This story
bit
came
like-
from Giselle's inner circle.
Because I could see them not living in the same house because...
They don't every year.
Yeah. So that wasn't shocking.
That was-
but the
no.
fact that she spoke publicly, I go,
Yeah.
ooh,
This isn't good. Like
she's pissed.
Very pissed. I don't know why. I 100%. If they end up getting divorced, this is Adam Schefter's fault. Because if Adam Schefter doesn't put that tweet out the Saturday before he's planning this retirement, this doesn't happen.
I just think that he didn't think it through. And
Yeah.
to be quite frank,
He's 100% done this year. This is it. You can just go back and watch
unless he
Sunday
gets
night.
divorced.
Even then, I think he's done. I think he's done. He's out there talking about how he hasn't had a Christmas in 21 years or something like that. This is his last year.
I don't know what he was thinking coming back.
Dumb. He should have retired after the Super Bowl win.
Well, that's the thing. You know, he could have had that moment that the only person in our lifetime that's had that moment was Elway.
Peyton Manning.
Did he retire after the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl 50.
Okay, so they both two Broncos.
Yeah.
He chose this.
Michael Strahan did it after the Patriots.
Well, I guess I was thinking quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks.
But yeah, Strahan was the only one like basically saying we're going to win that Super Bowl. And everybody was like, all right, Michael.
Yeah.
All right. And they did.
Yeah.
Panthers at Giants.
So the Giants are a tough one. I think the Titans came back down to earth. I like the Titans as a franchise. They're not a
Wait,
top.
what Titans?
I'm only. This is to point out. This is
okay.
my pick. I'm taking the Panthers to come back and beat the Giants on Sunday in New York. I think the Giants had a big win against the Titans on Sunday for coming back. I think the Titans are frauds this year. I don't think they're the same team, and that I don't think Barkley is going to go off like he did last week.
You can't tell a lot this early in the season.
You can from a little bit though. Like there's some things you can definitely see that have come from the preseason into the regular season that are going to take weeks to fix out.
I'm going Panthers
Yeah.
because Jim's a fan of the Giants. I'll never pick them. Pats are Patriots against the Steelers. The Steelers at home. First time neither Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger will be the quarterback in like 20 years.
Since
I think they said.
2005 or 2004.
Yeah, because
2003, sorry.
Yeah.
No, you're right. This is a tough one. Everything is telling me the Steelers win on Sunday, but I'm taking the Patriots. This is one of those ones where like you had to squeak out a win against Cleveland last week. You didn't look very good. Mitch Trubisky gets confused very often, especially against the type of defenses Belichick wins. I think somehow we either squeak out an OT or...
Mac Jones went home today, right?
Yeah, he has the flu.
Yeah. I don't even know who the backup
I would
is.
take Brian Hoyer to still beat that
Oh, yeah,
Steelers
Hoyer's
team.
still the backup. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going Pats because I can't go against them.
Yep.
But there are a lot of concerns this year, but at the same time, I feel like something will click and they'll turn it around and they'll make the playoffs and do an early exit.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be 1 in whatever or 2 in whatever like Tim Beaulieu, the fraudster, says.
Yeah, I mean, how do you go from the playoffs to that?
It makes no
You
sense.
can't
Not
do
even
that.
with the schedule that's out there.
Not in 1 year. You look at teams that do that, the Jags and the Browns and the Lions. They were bad the year before.
Yeah.
Patriots were a pretty decent team, sucked in the game against Buffalo, but that season was like, at one point people were like, this team might go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. They kind of went down, but they weren't like one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
By far.
No.
Falcons at Rams.
Rams come back and win this one. The Falcons had a good game last week against the Saints, still lost. Rams bounce back.
Seahawks 49ers.
Who are you taking for that Rams game?
Oh, I agree. Rams.
Oh, okay. Seahawks 49ers?
Yeah.
49ers at home. Both coming off a big win. Niners choked against the Bears, but it was pouring rain in Chicago. I like the Niners.
I'll go Niners too. Bengals, Cowboys.
Cowboys don't have a quarterback.
They're in
Bengals
deep trouble.
Bengals need to win this Sunday. I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm gonna go Bengals too. Texans, Broncos.
Broncos.
Yeah, and
Roll back.
I think things will get better for
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand going for a 64-yard field goal on 4th and 4 there.
That's insane.
Yeah, and like then when he missed it and they called timeout, I would have gone and said, "Oh, you know what? Clearly, this isn't in the way. Go for
The
it."
Super Bowl winning quarterback you got here,
Yeah, I would have gone for it.
who's playing against his old team in the first game of the season. Two really good storylines. I missed both games.
Yeah.
You know, Mayfield playing his old team, Wilson playing his old team.
Yeah.
Cardinals, Raiders at Raiders.
Raiders. The Cardinals are good. So is well, they're not great. Kyler Murray's looking better, but that team looked clueless on defense, and I don't think they're going to slow down the Raiders.
Yeah, I'll go with the Raiders too. Bears at Packers.
Packers. Sorry, Derek.
It's at home. I'm
It's
not
at
gonna
home.
disagree.
He owns you, Derek. He is your daddy, Derek. Aaron Rodgers bounces back on Sunday.
He doesn't like to hear that. Derek doesn't like to hear that.
No, I'm
That's
going
the
to
truth.
crop this later and send it to Derek.
He's going to hate you.
He's
but
gonna hate me.
It is the truth. Titans at Bills.
Bills. And it's a slaughter.
I'm going to take the Titans.
Yeah. That's on Monday Night Football, right? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, I think there's 2 Monday night games.
Oh, okay.
Man, the Bills are going to be good. They're progressing.
They are, and I was telling this to Jesse last week when we were watching the game. Allen's got to get smarter. He's one bad hit to the knee from being on the DL, and the team ruins their chances. So don't do direct run plays up 2 touchdowns with Allen. What are you doing? You have a good enough running back system. Don't run with Allen.
Vikings at Eagles.
Oh, that's a tough one. At Eagles?
Yes.
I'll go with the Eagles at home.
I'll go with the Eagles too. Mo will like to hear that.
Yeah, I just don't like Kirk Cousins, and I don't know if the Vikings were true. What happened Sunday is truly a showing that the Vikings are good, or if Rodgers just adapted to his new reality.
Who won that game?
The Vikings did.
I didn't even look at the scores. I got to admit, I guess I have so much going on. I only cared about what was going on with the Pats. I was at the field. I was watching on Dylan's phone.
Yep.
And that's all I cared about. And I literally didn't care about the rest of the league.
Yeah, it was a really good weekend of football.
I think like the first week, I think I ease into the season where like at the beginning I only care about what's going on with the Patriots.
It is fair. I mean, it was supposed to rain in Nashville on Sunday, so
Yeah.
like you could have gone inside.
And then when I have stuff not to do on Sunday, that's when I'm locked down on my
yeah,
couch.
like October
watching.
1st.
Right now, it's still like I'm still in softball mode. I'm like, I can't believe summer's already. Because once like training camp happens, I'm like, oh crap, summer's almost over.
Yeah.
You know. But I do want to talk about something because it's been the buzz of the wrestling world. We're both wrestling fans.
Yep.
The state of AEW right now. You watched All Out. What did you think of the pay-per-view overall?
I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was earth-shattering. It wasn't as good as last year's. This is the problem with AEW, and it's the problem we used to talk about with WWE. It's too long, and the card's too big. So I know Khan was making jokes about 2 nights for WrestleMania, and I know CM Punk made the joke about, you're going to be the main event of a 4-night exclusive, whatever. All Out and all these pay-per-views, if they're once a quarter, should be 2 nights. Split up to 2 nights because it's too
Or no,
long.
their big one should be 2 nights, not every pay-per-view.
They only have 4 pay-per-views.
Then you don't need 2 nights. Maybe for All Out.
If
that's
all of them,
their
they're
big
all
one.
too long. They're all too long. And that's the problem. Like, they only have these quarterly pay-per-views, and they had to throw as many people on there. There were 3 6-man tag matches,
Yeah.
including one for the belts.
I'm not
like,
a fan of 6-man tag.
For all these AEW fans who tell us that WWE doesn't care about the tag team division, what does AEW care about the tag team division? They made a 6-man tag team match for
many
belts.
belts.
Too many belts. Too long. By the time I got to CM Punk and John Moxley, I was ready for it to be over. Like, it was exhausting. Like, when we get to the CM Punk question, like, he went on and talked at 12:30.
Well, what did you think of the MJF return? Predictable?
Okay. Predictable, kind of. I mean, once you came around the Joker and you saw him wipe his feet, like that kind of pointed out, it's good. Maybe the Joker will finally win. I think the Joker has not won ever, won the match, so that's kind of nice. So it was just like a
Do you
throwaway.
think it was a work that he left, or?
I think it's part work. I think he did want to race, and I don't think he wanted a new contract. I think he was like, I will sit out. Like an NFL player, I'll sit out. And
See, I think they blur the lines. I think a lot of it's a work, but also it's a work, but it's also reality too.
it is.
I think the MJF was like, okay, sit out. For Tony Khan to play the message saying, I'm going to pay you, just show up, I go, okay, this is where the work and the... I don't know.
I mean, MJF has been on every single pay-per-view they've ever had.
Yeah, and he is their main guy.
He's their main guy.
He's their main guy. No, well, Punk's the draw, but MJF really is. He is the homegrown. And people are like, he's not really homegrown. He was on the Indies. I go, he's never been a national television star until he worked with AEW.
He is a homegrown talent of AEW.
Yeah.
I know that all these people love their independent wrestling, and you may love.
Well, he's on
APW
MLW. I
or
go,
MLW.
oh yeah, because they have a wrestling.
Or they sign an
television.
exclusive contract with the guy.
Yeah.
He's an independent contractor, to the nth degree when you're independent wrestling.
He's a known name in the wrestling business because of AEW, not because of what he did in any independent wrestling promotion.
Right.
That's not why he's a TV star.
Yeah.
With that being said, I don't even know, does the media scrum go on YouTube?
Yes, it does, and Facebook.
It's live?
Yeah, it's right after like that.
Okay. CM Punk, now first I want to ask you this. Are these the media scrum, do you think this is even a good idea to do?
In WWE, it makes sense because they kind of follow a script and there's rules. AEW, they let them wing it too much. I think that's another thing that a lot of the AEW marks don't understand is the reason why there's writers in WWE is to prevent stuff like this.
Well, New Japan does this, but they stay in character.
Right.
AEW's like, tell us we did good tonight and we're going to break character and you tell us.
Right.
With all these wrestling writers who I go, I don't know if that's the right crowd to have in there.
No.
Wrestling is presented as real.
Because Dave Meltzer was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, so basically what you're doing is shoot interviews right after a pay-per-view.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Doesn't make any sense to me either. And, the dirt sheet writers like Dave are getting their information from the Young Bucks and things like that. It's just this weird relationship.
I just don't, you just presented your show. Now we know wrestling's fake, but you
Right.
just put out a pay-per-view where it's supposed to be presented as real because that's how wrestling's supposed to be presented. And then you do interviews after that should still be in character.
Right. Should be in character.
I
mean, no one even talked about the fact that MJF was what fans were yelling in Chicago to end the pay-per-view, not CM Punk.
Well, that came up and they started talking about is this. Regardless of that, I do not agree with Tony Khan on these media scrums.
No.
I think they should
He
be
does it now too.
in character.
Yeah, in character.
Should be in character.
Yep.
When The Miz and Daniel Bryan did their thing on talking smack or whatever it was, they were really pissed at each other.
Yep.
But they didn't break character to do it.
Right.
Okay? They didn't start saying, well, you're being, it feels very Russo-ish.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't like that. I like blurring the lines, but it gets to a point where it's like, you're doing interviews here.
Yeah, what are we doing?
What did you think of CM Punk's just goes off? I don't think, maybe Tony knew about it. Maybe that's what Tony wanted.
Yeah.
Because a lot of wrestling fans eat that stuff up.
They do.
We want to know what's going on behind the scenes.
They do. I honestly, what he said in the scrum, I don't even think was over the line or over the top. The shots at Hangman.
Did call him a dumb F.
He is.
Yeah.
If unless Hangman didn't realize that the reason what the lawsuits and all the stuff that was going on with CM Punk, or he's just hearing one side of the story, and so he does the shoot. They didn't fire him. He's in Ring of Honor. That guy.
Well, him and Cabana were best friends. They did something, they didn't know that doing that podcast was going to lead to lawsuits and it cost them money, and Punk had more money than Cabana.
Right.
And it caused a lot of issues, but Punk looked like a guy unhinged that's obsessed even years later about this thing.
And that's the problem. That happened in 2013, but the lawsuits only ended in 2019. So he'd been fighting this guy for 6 years. And then he comes into AEW and Hangman Page has to rehash it.
Well, Hangman didn't use, because a lot of people are like, well, he didn't say Cabana, but he's saying
We're
that
not stupid.
Punk is holding people back and all this other stuff, which he has nothing to do with any of that.
No.
So I went back and watched the promo because I remember when it first came out. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
What's he talking about? And then it comes out, I rewatched, and I go, oh, that's why he's pissed.
Yeah.
And he's pissed at the Young Bucks, and he's pissed at everybody.
And I think that's another problem, is the EVPs leak information to Dave Meltzer and those others at whatever his name is, Sean Sapp or whatever. They're leaking information to them.
Yeah.
And then they're saying this stuff on television that then makes what is being said in Dave Meltzer's dirt sheet credible because they're the ones who leaked it, and then CM Punk has a call to it. Like,
I think it, and honestly, it was the most interesting thing that happened.
on that pay-per-view?
With the whole
Yeah.
All Out. But the problem is, you killed MJF's comeback, but you also ruined, I guess I don't know if Punk knew he was already hurt, but you ruined his win, his championship win.
Yeah.
The whole pay-per-view, to me, goes to shit once you did this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he knew he was hurt. I know he knew something had happened. I don't know why they'd love to do this.
I don't know why Tony thinks these are a good idea. He should be like, no, you're a main character. You're going to be talking about winning the world title.
Yeah.
And, Tony's got to sit up there with them. The whole thing's just horrible.
Even Tony Storm crapped on Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we're just going to create drama, which can be fun. But when you're doing it all the time, it starts to feel like WCW 2000.
Because CM Punk said what he said. Tori Storm saying that Thunder Rosa's faking an injury because she doesn't want to lose the belt to her. And it's like...
Well, I could see, that could be kayfabe. They could keep that in character.
But
what CM Punk did was...
You just won the interim title. Why are you even talking about Thunder Rosa at this moment?
I have to ask this. What did you think of the backstage fight and how they handled the suspensions after the fact?
So, I don't know if CM Punk was suspended because he was already hurt, and they never directly said it. I don't think the Bucks and Omega should keep their EVP title. They should be fired. You can't assault anyone. And whether it was CM Punk who started them, it didn't matter. They should not have gone to that room in that moment. I understand in CM Punk's thing, he says, if you got a problem, you come see me face to face.
And that's what they did.
10 seconds after it happened, cooler heads have to prevail, guys. What are you doing?
If you want to be in that management role.
Right. You need to let him cool off. You talk to him on Wednesday, or you talk to him with the dark or whatever.
I mean, when things happen with Bret Hart and Vince McMahon, Vince didn't barge in there. He said, if you want to punch me, punch me.
And he punched him.
This stuff does, and I will say, this stuff does have, this is not exclusive to AEW. Chris Jericho has fought Bill Goldberg in the back. Sid Vicious in WCW stabbed Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
This stuff happens, but when you are running the company,
Yep.
you can't, they should not have their titles, in my opinion.
They should not be in the position that they're in. And, they lost their belts, and they're going to be off TV probably for a while. But, does that really hurt them? The Young Bucks honestly could use a break from television. They've been on it for too long. They're going to use this, and it's going to make them look bigger.
Well, that's why a lot of people are like, is this a work?
It's a work. I think overall it's a work. I think the incident happened, and they're like, we'll use it.
We'll run with it. You do feel like you kind of, I guess it's not going to matter now, but you cut the legs underneath MJF by having this because that was the big deal of his return.
Yeah.
How do you think of Tony Khan as a leader?
I think he's in over his head. I think he's a person with billions of dollars and just thinks he can run anything. And, he chased Cody Rhodes out. He can't control the Bucks. He can't control Omega. He can't control his locker room. He's hiring everyone left and right. He's just throwing money at anything. He's bringing this guy who's spinning pizzas because he went viral on TV, but you got an Olympic gold medalist on your thing that hasn't said a word on your television. I just don't know what he's doing. And I know Corey Hambach will be very upset about that, but I think AEW is a total mess. There's some great wrestling and stuff, and there's some great storylines, but it's a total mess.
See, some of that though is why I want to tune in. What's the next train wreck that could happen?
Yeah, but how long can the Jerry Springer-esque type stuff keep up?
I think he's just just from what I've seen, he just tries to be there. I knew stuff was going bad when he went on Big Swole on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And he praised her, and then when she criticized the lack of diversity, he lost his mind.
Yeah.
On Twitter. I go, that's not what an owner. Vince McMahon has done some crazy things. Vince McMahon tried to fight Bob Costas.
Yep.
He's been on television trying to do, but he didn't do it on Twitter.
No.
And Tony Khan's out here, and I know he's a lot younger. Triple H wouldn't do that.
No, and like
not on Twitter.
And Tony Khan even went off in the scrum, right? When he's like, I'm not going to take this from them.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. They ran a live premium event in the UK, and honestly, it's just easier travel-wise for them to do it over Labor Day weekend.
He needs to worry about his company.
Yeah, why does he even care?
Do you feel like Triple H has put a little more fear into Tony Khan now that, a lot of people knew that Vince's ideas were starting to be outdated, and a lot of the releases you just didn't understand anymore, and now Triple H is doing things way different.
Yeah.
Is this putting the pressure on them? Are they getting desperate? Because a lot of people, if you think this was to work,
Yeah.
that's pretty desperate.
Yeah, no, I think that they do realize that they're not going up against 75-year-old Vince McMahon anymore. You're going against a person who's legitimately tuned into what's going on. NXT 2.0 is gone. They're going back to the old brand, so that way you don't have this weird transition, right? They went to NXT 2.0 because they wanted to have these like wacky, cartoonish type things because you were going to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown where Vince is doing these wacky cartoon things. Now that Raw and SmackDown and Triple H is going back to more reality-based style, NXT had to do the same thing. So yeah, I think it should apply pressure to them that they need to figure their crap out. The big signings every week that they were doing for the last year and a half, those aren't going to draw your numbers. I mean, they lost 300,000 people the week after AEW All Out. They're breaking 1 million viewers, which is great, but you lost 300,000 people.
Well, I see the whole thing that I've always said about this was that they didn't need to be they're not head-to-head competition. They will never be head-to-head competition.
No.
Tony, stop focusing on what WWE is doing and worry about what you're doing. Just because they didn't run a show head-to-head with you.
No.
What are you complaining? Oh, well, they're doing it on Labor Day weekend now. So what?
Right.
You got to keep producing your stuff and maybe control your locker room.
Right.
If this whole thing, which again, everybody's like, I think it's a work. I go, I'm not sure that it is. CM Punk seemed completely unhinged in that interview.
But that's part of his gimmick.
Well, obviously, and a lot of people are saying he rehearsed it.
Mm-hmm.
But his obsession with Colt Cabana is like on another level.
I don't think it's an obsession. I mean, maybe because you've never been in a situation that he was in lawsuit-wise, it's not an obsession. That was legitimately something he hasn't talked to in 7 or 8 years. He legitimately had a legal battle with up until Colt Cabana asked him to drop the charges and all the other stuff. And that's not that fresh. That's not that gone. And for them to bring it back up for no reason, had nothing to do with the belt, it would piss me off too.
He shares a bank account with his mother.
That is hilarious.
And I go, but unless he could be helping her, he doesn't know why he should,
Well, he has the discovery of everything. He's sharing a bank account with his mother because he never opened a bank account himself.
Yeah, that could be possible. I mean, someone wrote, they're like, well, CM Punk has a restraining order against his mom. I go, well, he's just jealous that Colt Cabana has a good relationship with his.
Yeah, well, maybe he has a good relationship with his. Maybe he's milking his mom for everything she's worth.
I mean, Colt Cabana can't be totally broke.
It was enough where he said, I want you to drop the lawsuit.
Yeah.
And it was when they found out that they had a joint bank account, and then that's the person who would end up even paying.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's just been absolutely crazy. You don't know what's real, what's not. They definitely did strip the titles, and you got to keep playing it by ear. Kenny Omega doesn't seem to be bothered by this at all.
Kenny Omega was rushed back to help the ratings.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ready. I think he wasn't fully healed.
Well, do you think he really got bit by what's his name?
I don't know. That just seems...
And that's the other thing that's weird, though. The CM Punk's trainer, what was his name? Can't even think of it.
Yeah.
He's not
even worth
my time to think about.
Something Diamond or whatever.
Never been on television. Never even been talked about. All of a sudden, he's thrown on television, and now he's biting Kenny Omega in the back.
Allegedly. But I thought it was the dog that bit him.
I don't know. There was accusations that Ace Steel,
yeah.
Is that his name? That he threw the chair and all this other stuff, and I go...
Which, by the way, they've already done before when Omega and Cody had their fight and kayfabe fight and Cody throws the chair.
Yeah, see, I'm just not sure. Not sure where I stand on that. But
Yeah, and I don't know what they're gonna do because like CM Punk's gone till April at the earliest.
we'll have to see what happens. But honestly, they are. I feel like they are trying to blur the lines. Who knows? They've definitely been trying to use the internet to boost ratings. I'm sure that Dynamite had a lot of people tuning in.
Not as many as the week before. The rating
Oh,
was
I
lower
could have
than
sworn
before.
I thought it did better, but
Did not do like.
well, probably because when he first comes out, he announces we're going to do another goddamn tournament.
Yeah.
We've had more tournaments on this program than any wrestling show in 1 year that I've ever seen.
It's
you
a
can't
lot.
constantly do this. You did the Owen Hart tournament. You did the women's tournament. Women's tournament.
Women's tournament, yeah.
World title interim tournament.
The three belts
The
tournament.
3-belt tournament. It's like, stop with the tournaments. We don't want to tune in for tournaments.
Yeah.
I don't like this constant. I would have had MJF win the title that night,
Yeah.
but that's what they decided to do, and it gets repetitive.
Yeah. I mean, this is all fixed as if CM Punk pins Moxley and Joker comes out and says, I'm cashing in. We're doing this match right now. Pins him.
I would have just said MJF won the Joker. That match is happening tonight, and it's MJF versus 4-way with the 2 other champions that are here,
Yep.
Jericho and Hangman, right?
Yeah.
Is that the only 2 other? Yeah, CM Punk's hurt.
John Moxley.
You do Moxley, Jericho, Hangman, MJF.
And now I'm fearful is that they're gonna do Daniel Bryan get the belt.
But again, they have too many belts because now they have all their own belts, and then all the Ring of Honor titles because Ring of Honor doesn't have a television show.
Right.
You watch that because they hyped up Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta, which I thought was fantastic.
Good match, yeah.
You already had all these other title matches on the show, so it was like, well, we can't have another one. Let's do a tournament.
Right.
They got to figure something.
They gotta figure it out. They have too many belts.
All right, let's do softball word association. A lot of the softball people will be tuning into this. I'm going to give you something from softball, and you got to give me the first word that comes to your mind.
Okay.
And the first one, a team that's retired, but they were a very dominant team for a while, but bad beat.
Angry.
They're very successful, though, to be angry.
Yeah, but I think people were also angry at them. They were angry at each other. There was a lot of
Okay. Michael Schultz,
D player.
D play.
You don't belong in these, Schultz.
TITS, the old co-ed team.
Hilarious. A lot of good characters on that team.
And they also retired.
Yeah, I mean, you can't keep the runs going for that long. I mean, as this is probably my last year going to Worlds, like it's just a lot.
Yeah, I backed out of Worlds. I was like, you know what, this is too much.
It's too, yeah.
603.
Bandaged. Or bandaged. That's the word,
Bandaged?
bandaged, yeah.
A lot of injuries.
Trying to figure out what the hell's going on, More to come. I'd say more to come.
J-Ro.
Prima Donna.
I think he wouldn't be as good as what he does if he wasn't.
No, he's great. I love J-Ro.
Yeah.
He's fun to play with. He's funny. For some reason, though, any team I play for, he craps on.
Is
this
he
year's-
on your team?
He's not doing it this year with our team because I'm on the team. But like last year, he crapped on 603. This year, he's crapping on the VFW.
Or does he just crap on everybody?
No, it feels like it maybe just because that's when I tune in, but the stabs. Right in the back.
Merrimack Men's League.
Best. It's the best league to play in. Like, if you ever have a chance to play in it, that's where you got to be at. It is tough, though. Like, if you're intermediate or, My Sports Social, whatever, it might not be the place for you.
Well, the problem is, though, you have these bloated rosters, what it feels like. And it's like,
And it's...
I know a guy, he hasn't really got to do anything this year.
Yeah, I mean, and you had Jim on. The year before, we only had 13 or 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
And there were a lot more forfeits, and they were having trouble getting around. This year, they moved to 18, and a lot of these teams all 18 are showing up, and it's too large.
So do you make more, or is the schedule already too tight?
You know, I think the schedule might be too tight, so you can't go more, but yeah, if they had 2 more teams, it would work out, but then like the talent stretched out, like how do you do that? And then you run into the problem you only have like 11 or 12 people on a roster, and then you're going to have issues with conflicts of schedules. It's just really tough, you know.
No, any league is. Nashua Industrial.
Done.
I don't think it's done.
I think
at
they'll
all.
keep going. That league is done. You know, that is. It's a sad day. 6 teams.
Well, you could grow it within a year easily, but
From where? Softball overall is dying.
I think softball is more popular than it's ever been.
I think it's more popular with the crowd we're around, but overall it's not.
Yeah, I don't
You know,
know.
Merrimack people don't want people at Martell. They want those fields back.
I don't think 6 teams is all that bad to have for a league. Depends on what you want to do. I think, you know, as long as people are showing up and it's not a forfeit city, I don't think it matters how many teams you have, as long as people are getting out and playing.
Yeah, and I disagree. I think that, you know, if there's 3 teams that are really playing, the other teams just kind of show them against.
Well, you had the
slaughter.
Merrimack Friday Night League that was only 3 teams.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
You know, I think people just want to get out and play.
That problem is though, and I think that league had some issues because there were a lot of like dominant teams. There was 2 years where like there was like really top 2 teams that were just beating the crap out of the other teams. So why would you go? Why would you play anymore?
Yeah, it gets to a point. It's like, what's the point? What are we doing? You
Yeah.
know, I think a lot of leagues run into that issue. Is like share the wealth, and it gets pointless. You know, people want to play with their friends, but sometimes it does get to a point where it gets pointless.
It does, and that's why I love the idea of the concept of a draft league.
But that's why I also say though, saying like Nashville only having 6 teams is bad, but you had a really good finals. It was the same thing with the Sunday League last year. We had a lot of we had teams dropping before the playoffs, which was annoying. But then that finals was amazing, you know. So it's tough. It's tough. I think there's a fine line. As long as you can pay your bills,
Yeah, if you want to do that,
then you do what you got to
gotta
do.
but,
you know, Kung Fury.
Fun. We're a fun team. Good times.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was tough.
We're up by 8. That's how we could close that, but
I mean, I don't know what else to say. They hit well. You know, they only they hit in 2 innings, and they were the 2 innings that were most important. So
very true. The Clark brothers.
solid people. You know, just all around good guys.
The guy who was supposed to be on the show originally today, Brendan Laporte.
Um,
Not gonna say traitor. Right?
no, I don't hold any of that against him. I'm trying to find the right word without like sound like I'm like kissing up to the guy. Class act. Like he's a great dude.
Class.
You know? Yeah, that's the word, class. Like he's just a
I
good
looked
dude.
for one word.
I know, but it's hard because like the word. Like I was trying to say that without one word. I couldn't think of the word.
The pint.
Dysfunctional.
We had some issues.
You know, and that's the first year though. Like they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll have to rebuild and, you know, maybe bring back John Nagel.
Nagel, I don't know what his future lies.
The future could be bright for Nagel.
Pinnacle.
Rest in peace. R.I.P.
It's still going.
Yeah, they're moving to U-Trip next year. It's gonna be tough. You know, I wish Matty P the best and hope that it works out for him. But if you move to U-Trip for Sunday fall, it's not a good idea.
Well, you'll have to just change the fields. You could play
Only
U-Trip.
one field.
You could play that if Wolf easy.
Wolf, if Wolf stays, that's owned by Brady Sullivan. If Brady Sullivan at one point wants to extend and destroy that, he could.
No, I doubt it. I mean, obviously you wouldn't play U-Trip at the middle school there, or no, the elementary school there.
Can't play there.
Green Acres.
You can't play at Brown and Mitchell.
To be quite frank, I would prefer it being U-Trip. I think it'll be fine. My social sports softball.
Relevant. I think it has a place. You know, I know they do their little tournaments and people love them. Yeah.
Martell.
Home. Love that field. Everyone complains about the lights at night. I don't mind them. They don't bother me in the outfield.
I've been out there. It does feel dark at times.
Yeah. It does feel dark, but like everyone talks about the lights when the balls come up, and like maybe I'm just at the right height.
Yeah.
Where I'm not stuck in the light, and
I know left field has felt really dark before.
try right field when the lights are out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I play.
Udicki Atkinson. That's home. That's home for me. That's where I spend most of my summers.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of the word for this. Divisive? You know?
Divisive.
It's got one great field, one bad field. It's divisive. Like if
No,
you're in that area, you have to go down there. Do you play on Udicki fence? It's nice. If you do play on Udicki, the front fence field, whatever it is, ugh.
No one's ever happy there.
No.
Gio Rivera.
Father.
He is a father. Jimmy O'Connor.
Prez. You know, he's the Prez. You know, he's a good guy. We both work in the same building. I saw him the other day. Had to go back in for a dynamic.
Oh, is he a Fidelity guy?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Co-ed softball.
Entertaining. I don't play co-ed anymore, but you guys have some wild, entertaining things. Heard about Sunday Gate, so we will talk about it.
Yeah, it wasn't, it's been a very well-run league overall.
Yes.
The Narwhals.
500. I think they're gonna go 500 at Worlds.
The Batwings.
Cocky.
Not a team that exists anymore. But
No, but we were good, and then when we moved to that other league, that whole transformation was me transferring anyways in softball.
It wasn't the same team that we had.
Right.
And that's where I started learning that a lot of people like certain days of the week.
Yeah.
I enjoy the Sunday afternoon. There's sometimes I don't want to be there.
Yeah, you won't catch me at a softball field next weekend. Not next summer in the weekends.
Rich LaPointe.
Married. Recently married. Good guy. I like Rich. I want to play with him more. Maybe I'll play indoor with him. Rich, if you have a team for indoor, let me know. Maybe I can play for that.
The next one was indoor.
Fun.
I thought you hated indoor.
It's fun after the new year. When people ask me to do these tournaments leading up to it, like right after, like
I don't want to do anything in November like that.
December.
December, if it's like a Christmas themed tournament,
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Yeah.
But I'm not just for like. I don't want to be indoor. I'm only indoor when I have no choice.
Yeah, I liked playing in Goffstown, and Sundays just weren't like. Maybe if I had done like a Wednesday or something like that, Sundays were tough because I always had a lot going on. But like, I had fun playing with Cairo and you guys, and like, the only thing is I hope they figure it out, Steve. You need a home run limit. I just would go out there and be like, hit the wall. It's never an out. Just hit the wall.
Yeah, home run limit would be good.
Yeah.
Tiny Pipes, the Prez of the Sunday Co-ed League.
Legend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You're your own legend.
Going for a title or a legend in his own mind.
Yeah, I think they'll once he gets there, Nagel decides to retire, you might have to get like a little banner or something like that.
Well, I guess since you called me, I'll ask you one more. Ken Nagel, since you already gave me the legend.
Hall of Fame.
Hall? Okay, Hall. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, Bobby, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for filling in. We'll obviously be doing it again, as you know. Anything you need to promote? Anything going on?
Do I have anything going on? Worlds is coming up. You can stream it.
You got to pay for it now, though.
If you're into softball, there's the Bring It podcast. I give Dustin and J-Ro a shout out.
A lot of drama going on in Merrimack too. I read the thread.
I can't speak to it because there was some litigation going on. There was a lot involved. I heard there was a team that showed up yesterday, had all their drinking containers in brown paper bags. I don't know whose idea that was or what was part of it. I wasn't a part of it.
They were trying to look homeless, or.
There's a lot of gates going on. Check out the Merrimack men's page for further information. Hopefully VFW comes back and wins our series. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think anything else going on.
All right, awesome. Well, everybody out there, have a great week. Keep your heads up, and until next time, let freedom ring.